Today's anime review is Crest of the Stars and Banner of the Stars, a truly underappreciated space epic. If you're looking for your new favorite anime or you just want to see what's out there, it's my goal to be your guide, so subscribe for spoiler-free anime reviews from all eras and genres. If you're confused by the continuity of this franchise, all you need to know is that Crest of the Stars comes first and Banner of the Stars is its sequel. For the sake of simplicity, I'll refer to them individually as Crest or Banner, and I'll use Sekai to refer to the entire story. Sekai is set in the distant future of our universe where two empires are at war. On one side, the Abh Empire, a technologically advanced spacefaring society sweeping through the galaxy, conquering all space in its path. Their goal is to monopolize their equivalent of wormholes to corner the market of galactic trade and transport. Consequently, all planets within their jurisdiction are considered autonomous zones. The word Abh refers to someone's race, nationality, or both. Although humans can become Abh, the true birth Abh are a totally different species that live 200 years on average. Their opponents are the United Mankind, a coalition of forces from various human planets. In contrast, they're essentially fascists who conquer planets by force. Although we know less about their side, the Sekai story isn't intended to be a morally gray dual-sided narrative like Legend of the Galactic Heroes, though there are many comparable aspects between both series. Instead, Sekai focuses on a smaller group of characters within a war that will likely last longer than their natural lives. Our protagonist is Jinto, whose father is president of his planet. In the first episode, his father decides to surrender his world to the Abh Empire. As a result, he secures the status of Abh for himself and Jinto as they're now considered nobility due to their planetary domain. Under Abh law, once Jinto becomes 16, he's obligated to serve in the military. This is mandatory for everyone regardless of their social rank, as evident by his escort Lafiel, granddaughter to the Abh Empress, who's currently undergoing training as she's the same age. After a surprise attack from the United Mankind, Lafiel is ordered to take an escape vessel with Jinto to warn their leaders of the impending war. However, numerous obstacles along the way become the catalyst for much of their development and bonding. I appreciated how Crest throws our heroes into various situations requiring them to rely on each other. Lafiel is independent and self-sacrificingly pragmatic in the face of danger. Jinto, on the other hand, is timid but has a survivalist mindset despite lacking the willpower to do what's necessary. Their personalities essentially complete each other, creating a heartwarming and helpful support system in the Banner series as they're aboard an attack vessel in the center of war. In the Banner series, our heroes are 20 years old. Lafiel is now in command of a small fighter vessel and Jinto is her supplies officer. Although his role may sound insignificant, the battles in the Banner installments are practically unparalleled for their technical and strategic aspects. Jinto's role during battle is monitoring the structural integrity of the hull and closing bulkheads to damaged areas, minimizing the potential casualties. Outside of battle, he stocks the ship's munitions, fuel, and orders replacement parts which are not always available. However, his greatest role is his emotional support for Lafiel as she struggles to carry the weight of command. In her position, she juggles control of the ship while dodging enemy attacks, giving split-second commands to her crew, and taking orders from her superiors as well. To give you an example of how complex some of these battles are, each entry in the Banner's anime is an adaptation of its corresponding novel that covers a single conflict. In Banners 2, the entire 10-episode season focuses on a planet recently conquered by the United Mankind on the border of contested Abh space. A large portion of the planet wants to stay with the United Mankind, while others seek refugee status with the Abh. The problem is that the overwhelming majority of women decided to leave, dooming the remainders as their society will vanish in less than one generation due to their non-existent birth rate. As Jinto attempts to smooth things over on the surface while establishing a new government, Lafiel handles the logistics of refugee transport from space. Although the potential of civil war looms over their shoulders, she's helpless as the Abh have no power in ground conflicts. Additionally, they have to look out for opposition forces that could arrive in space at any moment. So it's basically a season-long conflict that details numerous perspectives from ground and space simultaneously. With in-depth issues such as this, you might be wondering why Sekai isn't already one of the most popular anime, but unfortunately, a few problems are preventing it from being universally loved. For starters, it's somewhat slow and dry in the banner entries. I found Crest to be exciting as its 13 episodes feature about 4 well-written mini-arcs. Unfortunately, the banner entries are primarily set in the same environment. As a result, it felt a little claustrophobic seeing the characters on a small ship for so many episodes at a time. Additionally, I find little reason for anyone choosing to join the United Mankind considering they're characterized as being categorically evil. There are several first-hand accounts of them using force to trap people on their planets, dictating what food they can eat, what color they can dye their hair, and controlling their media to display anti-Abh propaganda. Sure, the Abh are out of touch considering they live hundreds of years without stepping foot on any land surface, but at most, they're just condescending and apathetic. Of course, one of them loves committing war crimes, but I didn't say they were perfect. While not every war story has to be morally gray, you'd expect something as complex as Sekai to develop both sides. But instead, I got the feeling that most of the United Mankind leadership secretly wanted to defect, but was afraid of retribution. Ironically, I think the Abh are just one good negotiator away from galactic peace, and most of this conflict is just one big miscommunication. Lastly, balancing is the most substantial problem plaguing Sekai. First, they have Crest, setting the precedent for Jinto and Lafiel being the most important characters. Then Banner comes along introducing many new characters, but there's not enough time to develop them all. At times, it feels like our main characters are overshadowed by inconsequential dialogue from tertiary characters. I can't blame the anime staff for this either, as they did a phenomenal job adapting the novels. I'd even say they improved upon them. However, the novels also had a balancing issue that was vastly more severe than the anime. In the novels, character interactions usually felt like an afterthought, as they were just dry dialogue exchanges with barely any explanation of what their bodies were doing. In contrast, the novels also take several pages to explain how a planet was formed billions of years ago, or intricately detail the behaviors of a cat. Most of the body language that made our characters feel alive was unique to the anime. For example, their expressions as they look into each other's eyes, or how one would casually touch the other's shoulder, and more. The anime made the characters feel like the most important aspect, while the novel vastly prioritized exposition. I was apprehensive upon realizing the anime's conclusion was a 2-episode adaptation of a 200-page novel until I read it. They spent so much time detailing a practice battle and a cat's behaviors. Thankfully, the anime's ending adapted the most essential parts beautifully, feeling satisfying, sentimental, and complete. If you love the anime and want more of its story, you can go directly to Banner's Volume 4 and you'll have 3 volumes of content to read. Although I read most of the novels, I didn't have it in me to read beyond the anime considering I was primarily reading to spot differences. I read the Tokyo Pop translations before discovering the new and improved English version under the current J-Novel Club license. J-Novel Club condensed the series down to 3 hardcover omnibus volumes. If you decide to read the novels, its 3rd volume includes Banner's 4th through 6, which will be available February 2022. Another Sekai entry is called Sekai no Dansho, which doesn't appear to be translated. This is a collection of short stories involving many of the Sekai characters. In fact, one of these stories involving Lafiel's parents was adapted into the anime's prequel called Crest of the Stars, Birth, which I'd recommend watching after finishing Crest. There are also 2 manga adaptations, but unfortunately I can't recommend either. One adaptation is 3 volumes adapting the entire Sekai saga, and the other is an 8-volume adaptation of only the Crest story. The 3-volume manga changed artists between volumes 2 and 3. While I love the art in volume 3, I wonder what happened with its original artist. Maybe someone discovered the guy previously made a manga called Goddess of Drinking Urine, or he had more important things to do on his agenda than poorly adapting the Sekai saga. The guy eventually went on to make such gems as Anal Justice, Anal Angel, and Pokemon. I guarantee someone got fired for that one. At least the second artist didn't make a bunch of smut. Actually, never mind. The 8-volume manga was just as poor of an adaptation, but it was much more sexualized by comparison, even going as far as giving certain characters puffy areolas that would protrude from their uniforms, so feel free to avoid both manga. Overall, the Sekai saga holds a special place in my heart. Its production team worked magic to adapt such a dense story in so few episodes without feeling rushed. It's a vast universe with many unique characters with special bonds and many distinct cultures. While it's a complete experience, I can only hope that volumes 4 through 6 will eventually be adapted with Yasuchika Nagaoka as director, as he directed every Sekai anime so far. I give the entire Sekai series an 8.5 out of 10. It's totally worth watching for anyone remotely interested in sci-fi, military, or adventure anime. Just watch Crest and see how you feel. However, I should warn you not to look into anything related to Banners 3 until you're ready to watch it. Its synopsis and cover are spoilers for its previous season. Also, the anime is kinda dry and its English dub sounds pretty good for certain characters, but it's a poor translation that's also incomplete. For example, they translated antimatter into anti-substance, so they likely did a word-for-word translation without considering the context. In case you need it, this is the watch order for the anime. Feel free to pause and take a screenshot. If you decide to watch Sekai because of this review, come back and let me know what you think. If you enjoyed the video, like it and share with a friend so more can experience the wonders of Sekai without being spoiled. Only 17,000 people in Mal have completed Crest, with only 11,000 completing the entire Sekai saga. These are rookie numbers, and we gotta pump them up. Thanks to Nia-chan and all monthly supporters and everyone who uses affiliate links for their support. If you'd like to support, check the links in the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon with another anime review.